If you're looking for a good and cheap solution to start your gaming journey, this video will be especially interesting for you. Many people wonder how to start, what parts are the most optimal, which monitor and gaming peripherals to choose so that it all costs relatively cheap. Today, answering all these questions, we'd like to present you a budget gaming setup for $700. We'll explain you why we've chosen this monitor or gaming PC which costs only $400 and it's perfect for upgrade in the future. Please take your seat, have a nice cup of tea and welcome to the world of technology-based educational content. 2020 is the year of the gaming RGB red. We've got the G203 Prodigy model from Logitech because it's very popular among gamers. This mouse costs only $30. We see the main specs: 10 million clicks on each button, RGB lighting with 16.8 million colors, 8000 DPI and 6 programmed buttons. As a processor, we've got Ryzen 5 3400G from AMD. This is a 4-core 8-thread processor which has an APU, including a surprisingly good Radeon RX Vega 11 GPU. So a graphics card for this build is optional, but recommended. We'll explain it later. It's made on a 12nm manufacturing process. The basic frequency is 3.7 GHz and the CPU can boost up to 4.2 GHz. There are 4MB of L3 cache and the CPU has a 65W TDP. With the included Wraith Spire cooler, you won't have to worry about temperatures even under heavy loading. AMD kindly took care of us and even pre-applied thermal paste. Ryzen 5 3400G is a processor that comes at a very reasonable price of $149, but still manages to provide extremely respectable performance, which is quite enough. That's why we've chosen this one with a budget like ours. We won't be able to build a high-performance PC immediately. For the future upgrade of our build, the GTX 1660 Super or 1650 Super are perfect and you can choose one according to your budget. Both video cards are good. Of course, today we will test our PC both without GPU and with 1660 Super. To be honest, we're very excited to see how much FPS each of these options will achieve. If you want to save some money while building your PC, a motherboard with B450 chipset is a great way to do this. Gigabyte B450 Gaming X motherboard is one of the best. Technically, it's a previous generation motherboard. It still uses AM4 socket and supports the 3rd generation Ryzen processors. In the future, you can just update the BIOS and install a brand new Ryzen 3 3300X. The motherboard comes with this I/O shield. It is full format ATX. It has 4 slots for dual channel RAM and 8-pin additional power to the processor. The board itself is made of very high quality materials. On the back panel we see 4 USB 3, 4 USB 2, Ethernet, audio ports, HDMI and of course DVI-D. Taking into account the possibility of updating, this mobile is great for its price, which can serve you a very long time. Then you can easily add more RAM or change the processor to a newer one. All these facts make this board a good choice. As drives, we took 1TB hard drive from Western Digital Blue for games and files, and of course an 120GB SSD BX500 from Crucial for fast Windows operation. We use high quality drives more than once in our builds. In 2020 your computer just needs to have an SSD and you can choose absolutely any SSD starting from 120 gigs that you can afford, and this will significantly improve the performance of your entire system. A 16GB kit is simply necessary for our build because our APU uses 4 gigs as VRAM for integrated Vega GPU. These 4 gigs are isolated from what Windows 10 can use. With RAM prices coming down, you can comfortably have 16 gigs of RAM even in a build made to fit a fairly tight budget. We're recommending Patriot Viper Steel Kit with 2 8GB sticks. It runs at a very respectable frequency 3.2 GHz. Unfortunately, due to the situation with the pandemic, we're not able to get such a memory and we're gonna use the one from our friends Team Group. It is T-Force Extreme ARGB DDR4 for 16GB. It looks amazing and trust me, this memory operates at a frequency 3.6 GHz. It is an incredibly expensive memory and certainly not suitable for a budget build, but it's good for boosting our mood. Just look at this. Oh man, how I love doing it, it looks so awesome. Can you see this? It has RGB all over the surface. Yes, this is flex stuff. We feel like we're the coolest guys in the world. Yeah, I'm telling you, it can be used as a bling for our chain, like by a gamer who is bubbling. Okay guys, all the jokes aside, but the memory is really cool. Let's move on. All the links to Amazon for all the components from this video, including the power supply, can be found in the description below. We've got a monitor from the company BenQ, model GW2470HL with VA matrix, and this is a good time tested one. We'll tell you more about it later. Well, As for the keyboard, we've got the mechanical model CK104 from Motospeed, which we bought on AliExpress. Yes, this is a budget keyboard and it's amazing for its price, only 40-45 bucks, and you can safely order it, it is built very well. And of course we must not forget about our brand new sticker, we'll stick it on the case. The legend says it has a favorable effect on FPS in games. Well, it's time to build our budget gaming PC and discuss all these components in more detail so that you can fully understand one or another of our choice. We prepared our motherboard, installed the processor and the cooler. Now it's time for RAM. Of course it looks like masterpiece, but unfortunately today we're not able to use its full potential. It will work at a lower frequency than 3.6 GHz. This memory looks very cool in the dark and we highly recommend it to gamers who want to build a performance monster. Just look at how cool this RGB is made. It looks luxurious and very modern. As a result, we've got a very beautiful and stylish setup, which costs us only 700 bucks. We'll test it later, but now we're gonna tell you more about each component in our setup. Choosing a monitor, we try to save as much money as possible, despite the fact that this is one of the cheapest monitors. Yet it can offer you some minimal comfort for your eyes, and we do not recommend you to buy very cheap models. Please friends, take care of your eyesight. This BenQ has a 24-inch screen and VA matrix with normal color rendering. Its response is only 4 milliseconds. These are more than normal indicators that will allow you to get good emotions playing games. Full HD resolution is the best solution for such a screen, but if you decide to buy a larger monitor, then you should pay attention to models with QHD resolution. Otherwise, the pixels may seem large to you, and it will spoil the impression of the purchase. Our monitor is made of high quality materials, its design looks quite nice. Speaking of disadvantages, it can be noted that there are no speakers and there is no possibility to adjust the height, but the angle of inclination can be slightly adjusted. One of the advantages is a very convenient element of control that is securely located at the bottom of the monitor. Here is our mechanical keyboard, and this is the famous one from Motospeed with loud keys and real full RGB lighting throughout its size. Now such a keyboard on AliExpress costs only 42 bucks. We like everything about it. It has a nice stroke of keys, keycaps are located securely in their places, and there is a huge variety of lighting options for every taste. Well, just a Christmas tree. The keyboard is made of good plastic. Its chassis is made of a solid metal plate. However, when you press the keys hard, you can hear a weird ringing. But this doesn't disturb you, especially if you wear a headset. The Logitech G203 mouse is very pleasant to touch, incredibly light, it weighs only 85 grams. Although it is too small for us, you'll have to hold it with the palm of your hand, but we like to hold the mouse with our fingers, even though everybody's hands are different and it can be perfect for someone else. The click is quite pleasant, and we have a very good impression of this mouse, especially considering its price of 23 bucks. It is equipped with a laser sensor with a resolution of 8000 dots per inch. This is an excellent indicator, which is quite enough for the fastest shooters. On the top it has an additional button for switching sensor speed. The wire is quite long. It also has RGB lighting that moves smoothly from one color to another. As a headset, we recommend you Plantronics RIG400. Unfortunately at the moment we don't have it and we can show it to you, but we're completely happy with this thing. We can say with confidence that this is one of the best headsets in terms of price and quality. Playing with this headset is a pleasure. The music sounds quite atmospheric. The shots and explosions sound sharp and stand out in this mix. You can easily hear how the enemies are preparing to ambush you. Voice communications and verbal orders are clear, even in the middle of a firefight. The microphone also works very well. As an alternative, you can pay attention to HyperX Cloud Stinger Core. This is a new model that is popular among gamers, but we can't recommend it to you because we haven't used it ourselves. We've got the lighting from AliExpress for 5 bucks. It connects with USB directly to the PC or charging adapter and can be controlled by using the remote control. This is not necessary, but it can be a good decoration for your setup. The main thing is to place this tape correctly, and in the evening your gaming space will look very stylish and futuristic. We've got this mousepad for 15 bucks, but it looks very cool. We've chosen the largest version of the size, which is 90 to 40 centimeters, of course with RGB lighting, which is controlled by a button on the corner. It also has a print of the world map, and it's fun. It goes well with this setup and will be much more comfortable playing with it. It's time for tests. The first thing we want to pay your attention is the booting speed of our PC. Thanks to the SSD, it takes about 20 seconds. We've tested a great number of games, but we'll show you some of them, so it won't take too long. We tested everything in 1080p and low graphic settings, and our PC did a great job with games such as Forza Horizon 4, Doom Eternal and even Minecraft. Now you can see all the results on your screens, and this graph shows that Radeon RX Vega 11 combined with 16 gigs of RAM allows decent gaming and 1080p low and medium settings. For example, World of Tanks reached an average FPS of 167. Forza Horizon 4 maintained 57 FPS in the Eternal benchmark. These results are really impressive and make it clear that Radeon RX Vega 11 is a good choice as a temporary solution. But of course you shouldn't expect a super performance from it. So it's time to upgrade. We installed GTX 1660 Super in our PC and tested the games with very high graphic settings. Now you can see a graph with test results on your screens. Guys, in Minecraft we've managed to get 208 FPS as well. In fact, the results are obvious, and all 8 games have shown more than 60 FPS at very high graphic settings. Of course we got completely different emotions. GTX 1660 Super is a completely different level, because even the very demanding Red Dead Redemption 2, which we didn't compare for obvious reasons, has shown a decent result. We think that our setup looks amazing and perfectly fits into your interior. Now, after all the tests, with full confidence we can recommend to you all the components and devices used in this setup. Post your comments down below and share with us what would you like to upgrade or change in our setup. We're very interested to know your opinion. If you have $700 in your pocket, then our option is perfect for you for the first time. And later, having even more money, you can easily upgrade to a discrete graphic card such as GTX 1660 Super as we've used today, and enjoy the games on a completely different level. Put your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep in touch. Bye!